Welcome to the Youth Revival YouTube channel, where we chat all things building great youth ministries. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Nathan, and I was youth pastor for over 10 years. And today, I want to talk about reviving youth ministry in the church. I guess for many of us, we've felt exactly what we're feeling right now in terms of rebuilding or reviving, as we're calling it today, our youth ministries after the COVID pandemic. Stats and even conversations that I've had would reveal to us that it's been a testing time in youth ministries, trying to rebuild and revive our youth ministries. But I really believe that God wants to do that. If I take you back to our starting story here at Icon Church, as it is known now, we had 8 young people in our church, and we had this word from God over our church that what we were called to do is not build a youth club, but build a great youth ministry. We weren't called to do a youth club, but a great youth ministry. And the difference between that is that actually a youth club would put on a load of activities. We'd have, it'd be all about entertaining the young people, not against that, not against having activities, not against having fun, but then it would just be, let's throw God in right at the end. Whereas a youth ministry, the sole focus is on Jesus. Sole focus is on reaching young people with the message of Jesus. The sole focus is discipling those young people into a greater relationship with Jesus. And so we had that vision, but we had 8 young people. And so where were we going to start? And I want to start with us thinking of where we started in that moment, because I think it's a great place for us to revisit maybe, or even for you to start again in reviving youth ministry in the church. And that's with this thought: you need to have a vision. You need to have a vision. I think since the pandemic, since everything's gone on and it's been hard work, it's hard work to reach young people, maybe it's hard work to engage volunteers, engage youth leaders in the mission of reaching young people with the message of Jesus and building great youth ministry. As it's been difficult, I think our vision can sometimes get smaller. Our vision can just drift away, and because it's hard work, we can pull away from the vision that God has given us. And so maybe for you it's revisiting that vision, or maybe today it's getting a God vision for your youth ministry. We had to do that right at the start of our youth ministry, and one of the things that was really key for me was to get a picture, and that was a physical picture. I went onto the internet and I looked at different things, but I had this image in my mind, and I remember seeing it, I think it was on an album cover or even on a website, where I'd seen this image of a whole load of young people worshiping Jesus. And I said, that's what I want our youth ministry to look like. I said, I want it, but I believe that God placed that desire in my heart. And so I got a physical picture. But it didn't just stay with me. And this is the important thing for us to recognize, is that Habakkuk tells us to write down the vision, make it plain so that other people can run with that vision. And so to start with getting that vision, I think you've got to spend time in prayer, asking God. Maybe even you need to speak to your senior or lead pastor about what do they see for the youth ministry in your church, because you don't want to be a silo, you don't want to be separate to the church. So maybe you need to speak to them. But then I want to encourage you to get a picture and to share that with your leaders, to write it down, make it plain, show them the picture, keep it at the forefront, put it as your background on your phone, on your computer, print it out, stick it up in your office, wherever you're working, so you see it all the time. So it's the reference point of, this is what God is calling us to do. That picture many times reframed and helped me to reframe what we were doing again and again. When things got tough, it helped me to go, no, this is a God thing. God has something great for our youth ministry. And so in reviving youth ministry in the church, I believe it starts with that vision. It starts with you taking what you have, but going, do you know what? I want a God dream. I want to see what God sees for our youth ministry. So here's some thoughts for you, maybe some questions for you today. Is this: do you have a vision? Do you have a vision for your youth ministry? If yes, revisit that. Reignite it again and let it rise up in you again. If that's no, then maybe you need to spend some time in prayer, speaking with other people, and just letting God form that vision in you. Have you shared that vision? Second question: have you shared that vision with your leaders, with the people that you're working with? Have you shared it with them? Have you made it plain so that they can run with it? So that today your vision can move forward. The vision that God has given you can move forward in your youth ministry. And the last thing is, does your youth ministry know it as well? I think this is really important, because I believe, and maybe we'll talk about this another time, but young people reach young people. And so if they know the vision, they know this is the thing that God is calling us to do as a youth ministry, they can run with it as well. And I want to encourage you, the vision that God has given you, that God has given you everything you need to bring about that vision, to begin to move it forward, to begin to revive that youth ministry in your church, and believing you'll do that. And so share that vision all the time. Share it with your leaders. Share it in your messages when you're speaking to your young people. Share it all the time. Keep pointing people to the vision that God has for you. And I really believe that this is the starting point of reviving youth ministry in the church. And so I want to encourage you today to ask those questions, to maybe apply. Say, this is what we're going to do. Get that picture, get it in the forefront, and begin to share it and begin to pray over it, and believing as you do that, that again, it'll revive and reignite what God is calling you to do as a youth ministry. Well, I believe in youth ministry. I believe in what God wants to do. And I believe that as you take these steps, God can do incredible things. Look forward to seeing you next time on the Youth Revival YouTube channel. I'll see you soon.